Hey everybody, it's Carla. Welcome to the Happy Bookmaker. I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you're in the US, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving yesterday. So today we're going to work on France and Flowers 3 Black Toile, which I talked about in the video a couple of days ago, where I was talking about my Black Friday sale and some new digital papers that I have and new dyed papers, and kind of gave a sneak peek of what we were going to be working on. So as I talked about this book that I want to do, it's the third in a series. I said I was going to be using a cereal box, but things change sometimes. So as I was sitting in the living room the other night and just kind of caught my eye, this old book, and it's called Love is Eternal, which of course that has nothing to do with it, but what a sweet name, huh? So as I was looking at it, I thought, wow, that is really a good size. And actually, let's measure this out. Yeah, so it's like 5.5 by 8.5, which that's perfect size for a book, right? Because if you're folding your 8.5 by 11 papers in half, that's the perfect size. Now, the spine is going to be smaller than the other two France and Flowers journals. It's in like 1 1/4. However, and I was trying to keep them, you know, consistent and similar, but I really like the idea of doing this one with an old book. So here, let me grab the other two real quick. So this is France and Flowers 1, Waverly Blue, and it's quite stuffed. I mean, it's gorgeous. I love the way it turned out. I have a, let's see, it's about a 1 3/4 inch spine on this one. And I do have this quite stuffed, and I believe I have 3 12-page signatures in this one. So, you know, it's pretty stuffed. Now in France and Flowers 2, Red Toile, we've got this spine at, it's a little bigger. It's about 2 1/4. So, and this also has 3 12-page signatures. So my thinking is, if I do 3 10-page signatures, I think I can get by with a smaller spine, and probably not stuffing it as much, because again, this also is quite stuffed. I love it. It turned out great, but you know, I think I'm going to switch it up a little bit for this one. So that is my reasoning for going with the old book. So I did show you the fabric in the last video. It's this beautiful black toile fabric, and somebody asked me recently, you know, in an interview, you know, what is toile? You know, that, you know, they didn't understand what it was, and I totally get it. And I think, you know, it's possible that you know, just coming from my design background, this is just this is a fabric pattern. Toile is a fabric pattern, and the name, and this is what I learned in design school. It was Toile de Joux, which was toile from joy. I don't know if I'm saying that right. France. In other words, toile is the fabric. So, but it is a fabric with like a provincial, country French provincial scene, and it is generally monochromatic, like black and white, black and cream, red and white, you know, that sort of thing. So that is what toile is. It's very possible I'm not saying toile correctly. I did learn from a Norwegian teacher, so take that into account. Okay, so so this is our fabric, and this is going to be the inside of the book, which, I don't know, do you remember this? This was the fabric that Carlotta used for Carlotta's Witchy Junk Journal, but I thought it would be perfect for the inside cover of this book. And then for covering the spine, of course, why not use a piece of the toile? That'll be beautiful. And I've already kind of started with the spine, and I did a few markings. The reason I haven't completely finished it is because depending on how this lays out, I may have to trim this down a little bit. So the first thing we need to start with is we need to cut the text block out of this book. So this is very easy to do, very, very easy to do. So all you do is you find kind of the seam, right? So it's gonna be like right in here. And then you carefully, and you can kind of separate it, carefully just, and without cutting through. Okay, so now I've got it started, you can see that. And then just kind of keep going down. Now I don't wanna have this, I have this open a lot. I'm gonna shorten that a little because I don't wanna cut through the, the outside of the book. The reason I'm trying to be careful about this is I wanna maintain that spine. Look how beautiful that's coming apart. It's really easy. I just love working with old books. Ta-da, that's done. Let's do the other side. There we go. And there is our lovely text block with these beautiful book pages. Really pretty. Okay, lots of cool stuff in here. All right, so I'm gonna like trim a little bit of this excess away and then we'll continue on. Okay, I've trimmed that up a little bit. I just didn't want this stuff to get in the way when we're working with our spine. So let me find that little piece. Just want to see. Oh, that's going to be perfect. I think that's going to be really good. So what I'm going to be doing is, and this is always tricky, attaching it to the back of this. We're going to be putting our holes in this side, and then the whole thing will be glued down. So I also have to make sure that this isn't going to be too tight in here. Hey, one try. Okay, all right, let's continue on. Let us glue this on. So I played around with, like what kind of scene did I want on the front of the book? Because you have to think about that when you have a pattern like this. So what I came up with was this sort of a scene. I might have too much fabric here. I might rip off a little bit of this. This sort of a scene on the front, knowing that there is going to be some other kind of decoration, most likely on the front as well. I usually do some kind of a ribbon or a wrap or something. So I don't know, she may be a little fatality here, but we'll see. And then around the back is this lady and child, but mostly what, the important thing is it's the scenery, it's the toile fabric, it's the toile pattern. So I think it's a little bit, it's a little big. Let's see here. I'm going to trim off just a little bit of this. I'm going to take it off the bottom. I'm just going to make a cut. That's a nice thing with these woven fabrics. You make a cut and then you tear, and it pretty much works out. Pretty much. Sometimes you got to give it another little extra cut. Okay, so, and it's okay that this is all rough because this is going to be covered, so I can clean this up a little bit. By the way, if you were hoping to see the construction with the cereal box, Red Toile, the video where we made Red Toile, that is gone through step by step with a cereal box, and it's quite a popular video. A lot of people really like it as far as a tutorial, so you might want to check that one out if you did want to use a cereal box. That's really the only thing that's different with this one. Okay, let's lay this down. Now I don't do glue on the on the whole outside because I don't want that glue coming through. So so we're going to glue it really well on the inside here, and then that'll be fine. So before we do that, I am going to put down a little bit of masking tape, pardon my reach, on here. I know you don't have to. I know it's going to be plenty sturdy, but I think it'll help kind of hold some of that you know, some of this roughness down. And you know, what can it hurt? What can it hurt? Okay, just plain old masking tape. It's gonna smooth that out a little bit. Before I cover this, what does this say? Something Colonel, I can't read any of it. 1886. This is not from 1886, but somebody wrote something about 1886. Is that Cleveland? Promoted him, the Army, to LK Colonel. Okay, interesting. And now I'm just gonna sort of trim this off. It doesn't have to be beautiful because this is all gonna be covered. So I know that wasn't necessary, but it just makes me feel better. I just think it looks nicer, just a little bit smoother on there. So I'm just pressing that in, and I just want a nice smooth sort of surface on here. Okay, all right, let's start gluing. We've got our Fabrifix. Oh, I'm getting low, I'm gonna have to get some more. Okay. So I'm gonna start with, make sure our fabric is going the correct way. Yep. And start with the corner and work my way around. Start with all the corners. This is a tip I learned from the Paper Outpost, Pam at the Paper Outpost. She talked about how, you know, like you're supposed to be able to do those hospital corner things. And I have trouble with those too. And she said, you know, she'd cut them and then somehow it never would work out right. And it's like, me too. You know, but this works. It works every time. So, you know, let's do what works. Okay, so I've got the corners down. Okay, all right. Now we're going to do, I don't know, I'm turning the whole thing around, but I just feel like I need to. Okay, and now I'm just gonna put like lots of glue in here. And we're gonna fold this up and press it down. Okay, that's down pretty good. So I am gonna do this with all of the remaining sides, and I'll be back. Okay, so I have all of these glued down. Look at my fingers. There's no hope. It's gonna be that way till I'm done with this. I'm sorry. They looked nice for a while. So that, look how pretty that is. Isn't that a pretty book? Oh, I love it. It's so pretty. I don't know, maybe I won't cover them up. We'll figure it out later. So when I do this, you know, I cover the book, but I'm not going to do the decorating of the cover until the book is finished, because I kind of like to ponder it. But I really like the way this is looking. We're going to lay this down now. And so I do have, you know, I kind of didn't mention that this is going to be in this gullet too, but there was plenty of room. Yeah, there's plenty of room. Of course, it's going to be this too. So what I'm going to do in this case is basically, again, I'm not going to put glue all over the middle. However, I am going to put some down in the gullet because this is going to be covered up. And then I'm going to just go all around the edges. So here we go. Okay, so I've got glue all around the edges. And let's see, are you crooked or is my camera crooked? I think my camera's crooked. pretty close. All right, so I'm going to just lay this down as carefully as I can. Okay, press this in, because we do have glue in there. We do want that to be down really well, because that's where this is all going to be attached to as well. So just press it in. I want to make sure that it's in these creases here. Press it down. And we are going to put some kind of little trim around the edge to kind of cover up that raw edge. Although, I mean, it looks pretty good, but it's a little wonky down here. So we're going to find something to cover that up with. Look how nice the corners look. They really do turn out nice like this. And I may, in this one, do like the metal book corners. I don't know if I'm gonna do silver like this, but you know, something like this. I think that really adds a lot. All right, so let's take a gander at this, and let's see if that still fits pretty well. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. It still closes nicely, like that. Yeah, I think that's okay. All right, so now we can figure out where the other holes are going to be, because we need to measure those out. So I basically figured out, oh my gosh, look at that. I'm keeping you a little further away today, so maybe you can't see it as much. So I've got like 4, because it's a little bit over 8 inches, it's about 8 1/4. No, it isn't, it's about 8 1/8. No, it's about 8 1/4. Okay, so then I'm leaving a little bit of space on each side and saying that we've got, you know, 4 inches to the middle, okay? So we know that the other hole is gonna line up here. So what I need to figure out now is sort of go equidistant in this little portion here in each one. And that is gonna be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, of course it is. 1, 2, so we're gonna go about 2 1/2, which that makes sense, that's what I did before. So about 2 1/2, and about 1, 2 1/2. Okay. So what I did was just make marks in a couple of areas, and then I'm going to connect them with a line, and that will tell me that this will be my guideline then. Okay, so I've got those guidelines. Now I just have to go in about, it's a little over 1 inch. It's 1 1/8. And measure those little spots. That's where the holes are gonna be. So, got our 3 little dots there. I'm gonna do the same here, and then we'll be done. And because I already had sort of an intersection here, I was able to just put the dots at the intersection. Okay, so I'm going to use the crop-a-dile, crop with a P, and I'm gonna do the smaller hole, which is 1/8, and I'm gonna make my holes. I'm just gonna punch right where all those little red circles are. You can also use an awl or a big needle, big fat needle, whatever your favorite pokey tool is. Okay, we got those done. Okay, so these holes obviously are going to correspond with our signature holes when we get those done. Okay, there's all our little holes here. Let's clean up a little. Okay, I like the way this is looking. It looks really nice. So what I'm trying to decide is what kind of trim. See, that's really pretty. That is really pretty. And is it going to go under this or over this? I think it, let's see here. There's all these decisions that we have to make. Because if it goes, yeah, I don't think I want it to go over, because if it, well, so I think I'm gonna have it going just under this. Reason being, first of all, we don't want it to go over and then have to fit that into that, you know, into this gullet. And I just think that this will be a nice way to end this trim. It'll be kind of hidden under here. So I think I can actually put the trim down after we do this, and then just leave this up a little bit and put it over the trim. I hope that makes sense. But isn't that gonna be pretty? It's gonna be, you know, it's a little bit bulky, but that is just gonna really finish that off nicely. I had another option of this pink, and I thought about, I still kind of like that. It's lighter, it's, you know, it's thinner, but I don't know. I might still do that. I don't know, because what's prettier than pink and black, right? So that is a possibility. So, okay, let's continue on with the signatures. So, because that's the next thing that we have to worry about. So what I'm gonna do now is glue this down to our little spine cover. Ooh. And I'm just gonna put lots of glue down here. And I mean, we don't even care if it comes through the fabric, because that's all gonna be covered, you know, with the papers and everything. And it's very important that this gets really good and glued down. And this is not directional at this point, because I measured it equidistant, so it doesn't really matter. Let's get this out of the way. I want to get glue on that. And I'm just gonna kind of eyeball that. Because we are perfectly imperfect humans, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so that is nicely glued down. I tried to reposition it and it was like down, so I know that it's really, really down well. So let's see how this looks. Yep, that's gonna be really, really nice. Okay. Okay, so I've decided to go ahead and put the trim down before this, because I decided that once, it's gonna be trickier once the pages are attached to this. You know, there's gonna be so much to deal with, so I'm gonna do it now. And I can obviously use this as a guideline, but I won't have the pages in the way right now. So, there's a little tape on here. We're gonna cut that off. And just basically gonna put a stream of glue. I think I need a new bottle, all around the edge. And I'm gonna leave about, what is that, about an inch, half an inch of, you know, where it's not glued. And it doesn't even matter if I put glue there, because it's all gonna be covered. Okay. Okay, so make sure I've got the right side showing, and I'm just gonna go like this. Is that about right? Yeah. Just want to kind of cover up the very end of it with this. So go around the corner here. This is where it's tricky when you have these thicker ones. It is a little tricky. You know what's cool is that a little bit of this is gonna be poking out. You know, like you'll see a little bit of that from the front. That's kind of cool, I think. Oh, look how pretty that is. Oh, I love that. See, just a little bit of it's gonna be poking out. Yeah, I like that. I'm glad I went with this one. Okay, so there aren't going to be corners on here because there's no way that corner is going to fit over this, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to continue on. Okay, there it is. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I just love it. You get tired of me saying I love it. Sorry. But I do, I love it. Okay. All right, so let's see how this is gonna look then. Oh yeah, that's gonna be really, really cute. That's gonna be really cute. And none of this trim is gonna get in the way of the functioning of the book. That's the way that's gonna look. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is get our signatures together. And I've already pulled the papers and get the holes in them. And then we're gonna sew them in. And then we're gonna be done for today. And then after this comes the super fun part, which is all the decorating. So here are our signature pages. And let's see here. Oops, that came apart. So if you watched the previous video, I talked about the digital journal, the digital junk journal collage pages that I created and put into my Etsy shop. And so if you watch that, you see how I did some experimenting, printing on tea-dyed paper, coffee-dyed paper, other kinds of paper, and all of that fun stuff. So I decided, and I said in that video that, you know, I liked the way, you know, my digitals looked on the tea-dyed paper. I had already printed them out on regular paper, and it's like, oh, should I redo them? But what I decided to do was keep the ones that I had, and then the ones that we played with in the video, I'm gonna use those as well, because why not, right? So, and then also on the back of almost every sheet, I have put some kind of an image, either digital, or in some cases I did a photocopy of, what am I trying to find here? I'm trying to find an example. Like on the back of this one, I just put this in the printer and then copied an actual printed image onto this. Now I could have done it from the computer, but I already had it printed and I wanted something for the back of this. So I went through and did all kinds of stuff like that, and I cut the papers to the size that I wanted them to be, but I thought we'd just look at the papers real quick. So this is one of the digital prints that we worked on, and I can't remember which one is which. I think we used tea-dyed paper and then copied on both sides, and this is just some paper that I've used before in France and Flowers, and another digital print. And here's where I just, on the back of this, again, copied, you know, just a cool French invoice and stuff like that. So this was kind of, it was sort of like a mistake, I thought, but I really liked actually the way it turned out. So again, I'm using that. So am I getting out of order here? Let's see. Okay, no. And then this is a French book page. So that is going in here. Now you have to think about when you're, you know, when you're placing your pages, how you want it to look, because they're going to be folded, how you want it to look when it's opening up, right? So, you know, you have to think about that. So just actually like look at them and see how you want that to look. And there's no right or wrong, it's just whatever you want it to be. So like in this case, and so some of them might, you know, instead of having them all turned the same way, like this is the top of the pile and they're all facing the same way, maybe you have some turning the other way, right? Because every side is going to be shown. So there's no right side and wrong side. Okay. And then this one, it's going to be like this. And this is a double-sided copy. And this one will be like this. And I talked about a lot of these in the other video, like how I did them and stuff. So you can check that one out. And I think we'll leave this one like this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold all of these in half. Now this one is only going to catch 2 of the holes, probably. So I may put it down lower, and you're going to see, you know, the other page. So let's do another bunch. These are just really fun images. And maybe I turn this one this way. Yeah, because you don't want them all of the fronts facing up, because you want the fronts to kind of be evenly distributed, right? And then here's a smaller book page. So that is gonna show, like, I'm gonna make sure that that shows in the middle. That way you get to see all of that book page. And again, I'll probably have to mount that or sew that in lower so that it catches two of the holes. I don't think it's gonna make it if I try to put it in the middle. So that's this bunch. And then you also want to think about, like, what do you want your front page to be? Which design do you want on the front page of the signature? So, you know, that's another thing to think about. So this was a copy that it was a test, and I love the way it turned out so much on the tea stain paper that this is going to be the front of my book because I love it so much. So this is how these are going to look. And on this one, I'm going to end in the middle with this book page because there is a picture or an illustration, or I guess it's like some kind of a painting. And so I want that to be the middle so that you can see the whole thing. So that is that. So I'm going to get all these folded, and then we're going to come back and we're going to sew them in. So guess what? I was talking to you guys and I had turned the camera off. So that's unfortunate. It wasn't anything crucial. What I was saying was that I am, as I'm folding these, and actually let's do this one the opposite direction. As I'm folding these, I'm also taking the bone folder and doing a gentle crease, nothing too heavy. And then I'm putting them right back in the order that I want them, or I will not remember. So also, after you get a little bundle done, just take your bone folder and gently go over that crease. Do this one too. And got one more bunch. So now I want to place them, like I want to make sure that they are all even as far as, is this one longer? It looks really long. Oh, interesting. That is longer. I have to cut this one off. Okay. Okay, that's better. That was not making sense. Okay, so put those back in here. Okay, just want to make sure that everything is sort of lined up and where I want it before I punch any holes. And it's helpful to, you know, clip things. These are all about the same size, so they're gonna be really close, but this one is a little smaller. So I'm gonna put him, I think he might catch both of the holes, or all three of the holes. So I'm gonna leave that in the middle, because there's not much space on either side of that. And put that one there, and that one in the middle. And then this little guy, he's gonna have to go to one end or the other. So I'm gonna put him down here. So I'm gonna clip these so that they stay in place. So that's what I need to do now for all of these. And I don't know why this one seems so tall. Okay, we're just gonna, yeah, punch him down a little bit. Okay, you stay down there. So now we're going to transfer these holes onto the signatures, and this is up. So I just need to decide what order I want these in, and I think I'm gonna do this one, and then this one, and then this one. So obviously, I mean, they're all gonna line up because, you know, like I said, it's equidistant, so that's not gonna be a problem. I'm trying to figure out how to do this so that I can see and you can see. We're gonna go like this. This is very scientific. Lining this up right along my red line. Let's see, normally I would take a black pen. I can't seem to find my black, oh, there we go. There we go. I'm gonna take this and I'm going to basically pull pull this hole, this line, this hole up, okay? So now I'm marking all 3 of these at the same time. So now they're all the same, right? And theoretically, they should all go in the same. Okay, so now we just need to punch the holes. And that's where this little guy comes in again. Okay. So because my little marks are on the outside, I have to do it from the outside. These are little teeny tiny marks, but I can see them. So like, you probably can't see them but I can. So it's like there and there and there, and just go in and do the same size hole as obviously we did on the spine. Okay, so all of the signatures have been punched. So the last thing we need to do is sew them into the spine. So we've got our holes here, we've got our holes here, and we're all good. So as they say, just start in the back. And so I will follow the rules. I don't know if it really makes a difference, but I just do it. And I'm gonna be using this natural color wax. And if you remember, if you've watched before, it's 3 lengths for each signature. And that's always way more than enough, actually. And then I'm gonna take a nice big needle. So we're gonna thread our needle, and starting at the back. Now we have to go this way because the holes are in the back of the spine. So we're gonna start in the middle. Another thing you need to decide is if you want the strings to be on the inside of the book or on the outside or on the back, and then we'll get glued into the spine. And I think what we're gonna do is have the strings come out on the outside and then get glued into the spine. So we're gonna come in this middle hole, and it's gonna go right through the fabric, and this middle hole, now we're gonna go to the next hole, and it's gonna come through here. This is where it gets tricky because you can't really see where when you do it this way, it's hard to see where you're coming back from. And then down to the bottom, punch through that fabric and right through that bottom hole, right there. And now we're gonna pull that snug, go back through the hole, the same hole that we started in. And we're on the other side of the first string, which is exactly what we want. And pull that through. Now let's see how this looks. So we're going the correct direction and we're in the back. That looks really good. And then we're just gonna pull it nice and snug around. This is what we're gonna do. I actually wanna make these more even. Did I go backwards? Let's see here. I went backwards, okay. Go this way, okay. There we go. So we want that nice and tight. We're gonna give it a tie. Go around the other way and give it another tie. And give it another tie for good measure. Okay, and then I'm gonna cut this off. And I'm gonna continue on with the rest of them. Okay, so I've gotten the signatures sewn into the spine, and look how beautiful this looks. It looks beautiful. I'm gonna take these clips off. They're just very helpful while you're sewing to keep things in line. So now I'm gonna put a whole lot of glue in this gullet again and get this down in there. And we're gonna close it up. And look how pretty this is looking. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. This is gonna be so fun to decorate. It's gonna be like that. So I'm gonna get the glue in there and we're gonna go on from there. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I have, that we're going the right direction. And I might have to get out another, oh dear, yep. Let's get out another glue. It's time to stock up on the glue. So now remember, we're gonna come over a little bit because we've got that piece of toile that is gonna be coming over the gullet here. So just lots and lots and lots of glue. Okay, I can't imagine anything would come out of there. Alrighty, and make sure we're going the right direction. I've cut these once, but I'm gonna cut them some more because they're just gonna get in the way. Push this up a little, just a little bit more. Okay, all right, here we go. We're going down. So just get it in there and kind of maneuver it. And I can always add more glue to this part after, but the important thing is that the pages and the cardboard you know, spine gets in there properly. Oh, that looks good. That looks really good. Okay, I think that that's right. Hold on. Sorry, I've got you all off the camera probably. Okay, just want to make sure that that's in there. That seems to be pretty good. Make sure that's in there. Yeah, I'll have to put more glue down here, but I'm gonna do that after. Make sure that this is in here. And is it, you can see, I don't see any gaps in there. Okay, push this down. I can see that this could come over a bit. So I'm gonna take the bone folder and I'm gonna press down. I'm gonna go to the middle of the signatures and I'm gonna press down just to really get that down there. Okay, so I'm gonna take like a rubber band and kind of hold this shut like this for a while. But you guys, we did it. We constructed Franson Flowers Black Toile. This is gorgeous. I love this. And then, like I said, after this is all set, I'm gonna take a little bit more glue to these little edges and get those down. But that's it for right now. I think she turned out beautiful and it's gonna be so much fun to decorate. Maybe not in the next video, but probably starting after that. I wanna gather up some goodies for her. And thanks so much for watching. As always, I appreciate you. And I will see you next time. Bye.